to another episode of Ask Keith, Detached Work. Another Friday evening, we're out and about, visiting the parks as usual. It's where we find a lot of young people congregating. Just up this road is where we normally meet people. It's where just prior to lockdown we had built up a bit of relationships with these youngsters. And we know probably quite a number of people up here. Not relationships where we know them by name, but they do know us and they say, oh, it's either the God Man, the God Squad, or, you know, even know me by name as Keith. So we're going to see if there's any of these youngsters here, and we're going to talk with these first. We brought donuts today because I promised some donuts last week. If you promise them something, turn up even if it's raining. Make sure you do something like that. Follow through with your word. Be a person of your word. But it's been a terrible week this week. We've had a lot of attack from the enemy. And as I'm looking over there, there's no one really here, so we're going to move on. So here we are today, Friday evening. We've brought the donuts back, I promise. We've also got a roller banner, and we're just chilling out. Some kids there playing football. We're going to see if someone comes and ventures over. The big group that we normally meet ain't here at the moment, so we're just playing it by ear and see what's going on. If nothing really happens here, we'll move on and find another group somewhere else. So we've just finished having a brief kind of chat. I tried to coax them over with the donuts, and I said, "Do wants to, ask a question about God?" And one guy came over, and he asked a question. And he said, "Well, why doesn't God show Himself? If He wants you to follow Him?" And so we answered that question. We were saying like how, God has revealed Himself, and He's revealed Himself through creation. And if you want to silence God's voice, you've got to then come up with an alternative to who is speaking or how God speaks in that sense. And you've got to answer then the aspect of, well, where did we come from then? Because the Bible makes it clear that through creation God speaks, so that you and I don't have an excuse when it comes down to standing before Him and saying, I didn't know you existed, because His creation speaks of Him. And so we tried to answer it that way, and eventually after a while we met up with some new people. We spoke to them, but isn't it funny that when you get in a good conversation, people's mobiles ring and they have to go? So that ended quite short, and eventually, because we bought the donuts for these guys anyhow, we went over, just handed them out and said we're going. And as we left, they said thank you, and they appreciated, the fact that we'd come and did what we said we would do. And I think sometimes that speaks more than the gospel itself. So we've been to a few parks now. The parks have actually opened up. The council have unlocked the parks so people can get access. It's not increased the number of people on the parks. That's very much similar this week as what it's been over the last few weeks. If anything, there was less today, but I'm assuming it may relate to the fact that schools are breaking up this week, and a lot of people are meeting maybe in their own homes, arranging for parties, that kind of thing. It'll be interesting to see how it goes over the next few weeks. And so we're just venturing to one or two more parks just to see if there's anyone there before we call it a night. But to me it's interesting that when you decide that you're going to be committed to the gospel and getting out there, it's almost as if in the background things start going horribly wrong, as if the enemy's attacking. And so if you're a Christian who's committed to going out there sharing the gospel, just let us know what your thoughts are, especially when things start happening. When people start responding in a spiritual way, it's almost certain that you'll see the enemy in some way or another attacking your efforts, even attacking your own life and things like that. So here we are at the end of the evening. Like I said, the parks are unlocked. There are children out, but maybe it's because it's the end of the school week and there's probably celebrations in different formats, in different places. But it's always great to go out there and, meet someone new and share the gospel. And so we have done that, and we look forward to next week. Thanks for watching. So if you're a Christian, please pray for us. Pray for the work. Pray for those who go out sharing, and pray that people will be encouraged by these videos, and maybe to go back out if they've been out in the past, or maybe to venture out for the first time. See you next week. God bless. So here we are. We was out last night on the Friday, week 3, and this is Saturday. We came out and we went to our usual spot, but there was no one congregating there really at all. Just a few youngsters, so we decided to move on. And I remember many years ago I ventured into an area called Ashton, so I decided to go back down there, see if there's anyone hanging around in those parks. And we saw some teenagers, so we decided to go and ask them what their thoughts were about God. And it was quite fruitful really. We managed to share quite a bit, but it turns out that I'm semi-professional at what I do. I think my biggest problem is that I tend to veer off onto something else and don't answer the direct question. But from my perspective, the direct question, the answer doesn't make sense unless you build a foundation, to receive that answer. And so I don't know how to get around that really, especially if you're only meeting someone in one meet. You want whatever you say to make sense. And at the end of the day, the gospel makes sense. If you clarify it in terms of sin and judgment, and God's judgment being right in the sense of he's allowed himself in Jesus to take the place of us, what we deserve because of where we've gone wrong. Jesus and the cross and everything makes sense. And so, it's good sticking to the cross and maybe then building on that. So that's what we, at least that's where I was coming from, and so it was good. Hopefully people connect to our YouTube channel from it. Like I said, it's called Ask Keith because I'm trying to answer people's questions about God. Some people have problems which are a bit like a stumbling block for them. They can't get beyond that to step into real faith with God. So answering those kind of questions is what I'm hopefully aiming to do. So if you've got any questions, just send that question as a comment. Just say, listen, can you answer this, and let me know what it is, and I'll try and answer any kind of questions. And so we're moving on now. I'm not too sure where we're going to end up, but yeah, it's been good so far. So we've well, let's finish for the night. We decided to come into the town centre with all the pubs and clubs there, but to be honest, I was shocked. It's probably been about 15 years since I last ministered in the town centre and came out to share the gospel. And so basically, visually, when you stand in the town centre, you can see probably 20 people, and that's it. The biggest pub where people were congregating was the John Bull, which used to be a bikers club, a pub kind of thing with all the Hells Angels kind of guys. But even though that's had a whole bunch of people there, it wasn't the same kind of guys. There was no one really on motorbikes, and so a lot has changed since I was last out there. And so we never really saw a situation where we could speak into it and maybe speak to the people. There was a woman who was struggling, and I was contemplating praying for her to see God do something miraculous. But she just seemed like a really bitter, twisted person. She was nasty to her family who was trying to help her. And so we just didn't want to impose in that situation and make matters worse. And so I'm a bit disappointed. I would have loved to have seen God do something great there. But it's something to pray into and pray about more, and hopefully we'll see God do great and wonderful things on the streets of Wigan again. So thanks for joining me this week. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you want to join us, please contact me, let me know. Like the video, subscribe, and if you've got any questions about God, don't forget to comment, ask the questions in the comments. I'll see if I can answer them. See you next time. If you're a Christian, please pray for us. Please pray for the work. Thanks for watching. If you're a Christian, please. Got outtakes again. If you're a Christian, please. If I can get rid of, if I can finish this, then please, thank me and clap and applaud. But here we go. So thanks for watching. There's no S on me, thank. I don't know what I wanted. So, thanks for watching. If you're a Christian, please.